There we go. Okay, we're back on. So anyway, let me go back over that again. This is not financial advice. Um, please do your due diligence before making any decisions based on this information. So again, what I was saying is this is your 20-week moving average, which has been, downtrend resistance for a while now. We did break over it a couple of times, but for a very, very low amount of time. I think this was only like a day or two. But either way, I think that we are going to definitely most likely test this 20 MA or 20-week MA right at the 65 or 67.58 level. That's what you would consider or it'll be a 0.5 0.5 fib level test. Every test we've had on the daily charts and less have been at least a 0.5 or a 618 before it was released or before it had fell. So in my opinion, I believe that we're still at a dead cat bounce from the previous high, and I expect us to test this 67.50 range. You may see a spike up past it, but we haven't spiked above the triangle yet. So let's see. I mean, we just kind of need to watch and see what's going to happen there. But I think this week here we should most likely test that area and then be rejected, in return creating a lower high than this candle, which closed, or the high was 70 or 67.86. So I believe we will touch the 67.50 area, and then obviously be rejected back down to the triangle, and we'll see what happens. Should break down. I mean, we're literally running out of room here. So this week, depending on what happens this week, next week is the week where we should open the week below 65.70. So we should see what happens in between now and then. Let's jump to the 12-hour chart. On the 12-hour chart, again, looking at the 12-hour chart, the 200 MA is about at that 67.58 level, which means I do think that we possibly on the 12-hour could come up and test the 200 MA, which is 67.78. But again, we're still in that 67.50 area. That's where I'm expecting us to be rejected at. Again, the only thing is when you look at the daily chart and the weekly chart, well, this is the daily chart. When you look at the daily, you got the 100 MA there too. 200 MA on the 12-hour, 100 MA on the 1 day, and the 20-week MA on the weekly chart are all telling us that this is the absolute high that we should go. I mean, we should bounce here or be rejected pretty heavily in this range, kind of like these previous candles that tried to test that area. So I think that that will happen, and it's possible for it to happen. That would give us kind of a better, cleaner double top. So we'll just have to see what happens there, but I do expect us to at least test that area. Now, long into there, I don't know if I'm willing to do that, just because the fact is that a lot of these rejections have been happening right at that MA, or, oh, what did I just do? Oops. There we go. Okay. So anyway, again, your MAs are still in that same spot. I do believe that the test of the top of the triangle is very, very possible. But that's where I'm going to be setting up shorts at. I won't long to there just because we have seen multiple times that we haven't got back to the triangle before it broke down. So we'll see. But the problem I see here is we haven't tested the top of the BB yet, which is also daily at the top of this triangle. So I believe that there's a very good chance that we test that 67.50 mark. I've got short set there now, and we'll just see kind of what happens, in the next 24 to 36 hours. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. So let's go back to the 12-hour chart again. The 12-hour chart's got the 200 MA there. We can jump to the 6-hour chart. On the 6-hour chart, we are working on closing a candle above the BB, which, this is a 4-hour chart. We skipped the 6-hour chart. Okay, 6-hour chart. Next candle could close outside of the BB. with maybe one more up test before it crashes. We're also on a 5 of 9, so we could easily see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 test. Yeah, it kind of puts us at the 6,700 area there, but we'll see what happens on the 6 hour. Let's check out the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, you're at a 7 of a 9 on the sequential, so you've got 8, 9. You might close out of the BB and come and test this 67 area. But that's kind of what I'm seeing, guys. Just remember, I think that anything over 67 to 6,800 is an amazing short. Just add on to it if it goes higher. But that's what I see. Also on the daily chart, we do have a... Is it the daily? It is the daily. So we do have a hammer candle here that's starting to play out as a reversal. So we'll see. But just keep an eye on it. It's starting to confirm itself. 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, we came up, we tested the top of the B. We did close one out, but we're coming back up. So I'm expecting this to at least come just a little bit more. You know, that 67 range or so. And if we get a decent bounce somewhere to 60.90, 60.80, I'll probably get in there and then just kind of add on if it keeps going up. I've also got a couple of options for under 65 in 7 days, which I totally believe is going to happen, so let's see. But again, on the 1 hour chart, that's kind of what it's showing us. We're above all MAs. We should come back down and test this area of 65.50 again. If we check out the volume, yeah, see, volume's telling us that we should come back to test this mark. The most trades have happened at 60.42, so I would expect us to come back and test that 200 MA on the hourly at least at some point. We may go up here and test here and then fall for real, so we'll just have to see. But yeah, let's just keep an eye on it. The last time we got over this MA, we had a really hard time breaking past here. Your setup and trend lines are at 66.39, so we've got to take those into account. That could be the top, and it's kind of being rejected there very well. So we'll see. It is possible this is the top, but I'm gonna still stick with it may go up a little bit higher. Short term, we could see a definite pullback, but I mean, even if you look here, you got 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3. So I think this could be the third wave. 1, 2, 3. And then maybe 4 down here somewhere, and then 5 possibly to the top if that's what happens. I'm not big on the Elliott wave, but that is something that is possible. This is my BitMEX chart with the BB in it as well. Again, this is the same triangle, just drawn a little differently because I kind of picked out 2 different downtrend lines that are both equally the same, just different places. So again, on here, on this chart, BitMEX chart, we've tested the top. We've tested the top of the triangle. Now, I believe this is off just a little bit. I could probably redraw it, but it may not be because the BitMEX chart's a little different. So on BitMEX, this could be the very top on BitMEX. And we may just see, you know, a BitMEX lick wick or something along those lines that happens on the Coinbase chart or on the BitMEX chart. But here we are kind of testing that top. It is a green 2 above a green 1, so this could be a good long entry, but I just don't see it happening, guys. There's just too much resistance between here and 67.50. Shorts and longs, man, the longs are really creeping up, which is a good sign for us bears. Well, us in a bear market anyway, not necessarily bears, but shorts are coming up as well. As the price keeps creeping back to the top of that triangle, we're getting a lot of long interest. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I still believe that we may squeeze some longs here pretty soon because they are starting to climb back up. They're not as high as they were in August when we crashed, but we'll see. For some reason, our oscillator ain't showing up. But anyway, here's our 12-hour fib again on our channel fib. Kind of came up here, was being rejected, but I do expect it to come back into the 5-3 zone on the retracement before it comes back down. So we'll see. And it could come back to the top of the channel and test 7,000, but that would mean we break out, and at this point in time, I'm not ready to say that that's going to happen. But I am getting close. The longer we hang around here in this somewhat slight of an uptrend. But again, this is also painting one of the most perfect bear flags we've seen. So we just need to see what happens, if it's going to continue to fall or if it's going to continue its upside. For some reason, my oscillators is not coming up here. Alright, so on our oscillators, on the 1 hour, our Stoch is kind of starting to trend down, or is trending down. Your RSI is oversold on the 1 hour, was oversold tremendously on the 1 hour. Your TSI did hit oversold conditions and is on its way back down. Your MACD on your hourly is turning, but not quite turned. We may see a bounce off of it and come back up and then cross over bearish. Your momentum is down, but it's coming down. Your CFM is kind of down and starting to come back up on the 1 hour. So this short term, I believe that we still have a little bit more room to grow. 4 hour, Stoch is about to cross over. RSI didn't really get oversold, but it got close to that area. Your TSI did not get oversold either. You still have a little bit of room upside. Your momentum to the upside is dying, and your CMF is coming down. So the higher we go on our time frames, the more bearish it looks. Now on the 6 hour chart, you're up there. You're not quite oversold. You're not quite oversold. CFM's still coming down, and your momentum's dying. So it's hard to tell between the 6 hour and the 1 hour, but I still believe that we still have, like I said, just a little bit of room to grow before we're completely oversold on the larger time frames. Again, same thing here. TSI is not oversold. Your MACD just crossed drain, so let's see what happens here. CMS kind of normal, but it is still trending down. Same thing with your momentum. Let's check out the daily chart. Alright, on the daily chart, our MACD has crossed over bullish again, but very low momentum behind it. Momentum's dying. CFM is kind of just neutral and sideways. Your TSI has a lot of room to go. Your Stoch still has room to go, and so does your RSI. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oops. And then let's obviously check the weekly out. I believe the weekly MACD turned green again. It did. It never really crossed over bearish, but it's trying to. It hasn't really taken off yet. Your momentum is kind of climbing. Your CFM is still trending down. Your RSI is neutral. Your TSI is neutral, and so is your Stoch. All right. So again, here we go. We went up on the 1 hour and tested the top of the BB. Almost got us to 63.39. We're starting to retrace here a bit. Let's look at the OB. I mean, the order book is so weak now. I mean, the volume is so low. It's higher than it was, but I mean, it's just not. It's not looking good, guys. It's just not looking good. All right, so not many questions today in the chat. I didn't really. There's not really much else we can go over. I mean, that's basically what we see is just watch out for that top of the channel test, top of the triangle test, and then that's somewhere where I would expect us to be rejected at a lot stronger. This rejection wasn't as strong. It's definitely holding its weight, so we'll see what happens. I did say I would do a 15 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes on Deribit to kind of help you guys learn how to use it, get you guys involved. Is there anybody out there or anybody who's watching right now that wants to know anything or kind of learn the basics of Deribit? Let me know. I had a few people asking about it this morning, so I said I would do it. If there's anybody on that wants to see about it, just throw something in the chat so I do it. If not, I'll just keep working on the tutorial and I won't waste the time. But you guys let me know. I guess we can just go over some of the basics. Let me pull it over here into the screen. Alright guys, so this is what you'll see when you log in to Deribit. As you can see here, you can set up as many sub accounts as you want. What these sub accounts are cool for is so that you can mitigate your margin and leverage, because Deribit is a cross-only site. So you can make sub accounts so that you can mitigate your losses or your gains by putting a certain amount of Bitcoin per account, and then you can just kind of trade the entire account on cross, and that's kind of the way you can mitigate your losses, or mitigate not your losses, but mitigate how you control your losses and your gains and your positions. So let's just go over it. First things first, with Deribit, the contracts are $10 a piece instead of $1 a piece, so it's a little different than BitMEX. So if you want 1,000 contracts in BitMEX, you only need to buy 100 contracts in Deribit to have the same value. So that's pretty cool in the way that works. Now, the cool thing that I do like about Deribit is the larger your balance is, the more you can control your liquidation. So if you, let's just say you have 20 BTC, well, if you make a trade for 8 BTC, you have no liquidation. So that's one cool thing about it is you can mitigate liquidation with Deribit versus with BitMEX. I mean, you can go cross, and you can go cross, or you can just go no leverage. But with cross on BitMEX, it's always 100 times. It's always some type of a liquidation with it. Now, if you do cross with Deribit and you have 10 Bitcoin and you do a 6,000 contract position, which is smart trading, or less positions compared to your balance, then you'll never have a liquidation price. So that's kind of how it works. I mean, it's pretty much the same. You have the charts are different. There's not a chart on here, so if you want to go to check out the chart, you go to the futures chart. It'll let you jump between the 3 different futures that they have, or the perpetual contract. You can buy and sell here. This is your limit. Obviously, it's the same limit, market limit, stop market, and stop limit. Now, they don't have like a trailing stop or take profit or anything along those lines. So it's just these four options. You can do a good till cancel, fill or kill the transaction, or immediate or cancel as well. You can do the hidden or post only. This is where it shows you your positions, your open positions, and your stops. You can edit and change those here. The only thing is you can't, they don't show up on the chart. So they don't pop up here like on BitMEX, where you can just kind of move them around and stuff. But I did talk to Deribit support, and Deribit support said that this is something that is coming Q4. They're just waiting on trading views. So once this gets fixed up, that'll be sweet. It'll really help out a lot. Okay, you got your index chart, which will tell you your index chart. Deribit uses Bitfinex, Bitstamp, GDAX, Gemini, ItBit, and Kraken for their index. Now what they do is they take the highest and the lowest and they take them out, and they use the 4 middle ones. Now right now Bitfinex is down, so they're using 3 of 5. Again, they take the highest and the lowest price out. So that's kind of how their index works. Okay. So that's kind of their futures. It's really not much different than BitMEX. I mean, obviously, the only thing that's different is the charts and how the chart works and stuff like that. But other than that, that's kind of it for the future side of things. Now, if you want to trade options, then you go to the BTC options portion, and under account summary is where you can trade options. So you have your different days. You've got expires in 3 days, expires in 17 days, expires in 80 days. 171 days, and you can actually change the date. Where's it at? I believe you can change the date and look, or you can change the strike. I'll have to look more into that. But either way, there's a way to find other numbers like 10,000 instead of 9,500, or these numbers you can find on earlier contracts if you like. So anyway, now we can go over some option stuff later, and how to trade options and how they work. But obviously you have your call side and you have your put side. If you were expecting BTC to stay under 67.50, then you would then want to buy a put. So that would be something that you would do here. You would buy your put. 67.50. Right. So you would buy your put here. Right now, the cheapest one is 320. You could set your orders though for lower prices as it goes higher, to try to catch a better entry. But again, you still have the same entry as Bitcoin goes up. You're because this is a put, so you're waiting. You're betting on it to fall. So as it goes up, the price of this option goes down. Okay. So as this comes down, you want to buy at the low. Okay. For the height. So then you want to buy as low as you can, and then you'll be in profit as it goes down. Okay. So anyway, this is a good way to hedge your positions. There's a lot of different ways you can use options, and we can do a video on options only. But anyway, I just wanted to go over Deribit. So again, this is how it works. There is instant withdrawals with Deribit. So you can withdraw immediately, which is pretty cool. Also, the only thing that really matters in Deribit is your equity. Okay, your balance and your available really don't matter. I mean, obviously your available balance matters for new positions, but what's cool is you can use your profit right away. So let's say that I'm in a position that is up a half a Bitcoin. Well, that half a Bitcoin will be a part of my equity, which means my available balance will increase, so that I can trade more positions with the equity that I've already earned. You don't have to wait until it's a closed position to use that margin, which is pretty cool. It's also kind of scary because a lot of people will take a lot of the profits and put it back into the same position, and if something goes wrong, then you can obviously end up liquidated in full. So that's kind of how Deribit works, guys. I mean, there's not really much to it. It's pretty simple. It's just not as user friendly as BitMEX right now, but it is something that they're working on. And with the way that BitMEX is going right now, I think that I'm glad they're taking their time to do it right. They're not rushing it to make it, bigger and better and badder than BitMEX right away. They're taking their time, and it's something that I really like about what Deribit is doing. So, again, guys, if you're not on Deribit, you're sick of BitMEX, in the channel description there is a link for 10% off. You can also check out our website. Has all the links there. It has all the links there. You guys can check it out. See if there's anything along those lines that you guys want. It gives you 50% off discount on most of them. There's a few different ones in there, but either way, you get discounts if you use the links. It really helps us out with our free content and stuff along those lines. I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. Oops. There we go. So on our site, if you go to thriveforcrypto.com and you go to affiliates, we have our BitMEX, Deribit, TradingView, CryptoStorm, Binance, Robinhood, Coinbase, TransferWise, ProfitTrailer, and TorGuard. All of these are awesome systems. ProfitTrailer is a sweet bot for more of a long-term setup kind of thing. If you guys are interested in something like that, CryptoStorm is an awesome buy-sell bot. It helps you get into pumps. It helps you buy within a millisecond, within seconds versus using the exchange. It's just an awesome buy-sell bot. You can also set your buys to, buy certain percentages, etc. But this is an awesome bot, something you guys want to check out. Check it out. But here's Deribit, 10% off. If you click on that link, you will get going. It's also as well inside of the channel or inside the video description. Outside of all that, guys, I think that is all for today. So I am going to call it a day, I think. I will be back again tomorrow. Again, don't forget I am working on a tutorial for Deribit and for BitMEX, just, you know, for both sides, as well as working on our training courses we've been talking about for TA, BitMEX, Deribit, options trading. There's a few different courses that we're trying to put together. So if you guys are interested in those, please PM me. Also, get a like if you guys can. Like the channel if you guys like what we do. And tell your friends, get them to subscribe. We will see you guys all again tomorrow. See you later.